Hello, Professor BJ here. I hope you're having an amazing day. I hope you're getting all those preparations for the holiday. You're doing, all of your prep work for your salads, your side dishes. The turkey is thawing, getting prepared, getting seasoned, getting marinated. If you do Cornish hens, getting those marinated and prepped. If you're doing steaks, if you're doing seafood, a lot of people don't do traditional turkey for Thanksgiving because you turn around a month later, it's Christmas. So they tend to flip flop. But at any rate, I wanted to come and talk about this disturbing video that I saw earlier, and I did a little research before I came on. Unless you've been on the rock, it's been widely circulated, or maybe not widely. There have been so much is going on. So I don't know that this is in the top five priority for trending topics, but it is a good topic because again, I talk about all things workplace, company policy, leadership, HR, that kind of thing. So this falls in line with the content that I do on my channel. So for me, it was disturbing on a lot of levels, and I'll explain. So the situation is it involves a 7-Eleven, which is a convenience store in Oklahoma. Many of you are aware of it. You've heard the name. You may or may not have any in your location. But I did a little research before I came on. Pardon me for looking down, but these are some of my notes. So 7-Eleven, which I didn't know this, is an international global company. It's owned by a Japanese company out of Japan. One of the subsidiaries, 7-Eleven, is headquartered in Irving, Texas. So that's the one that we see almost on every street corner. They also have under their brand Speedway, which is another convenience store. You may have heard of that one. Stripes, I'm not sure what type of establishment that is, or if that's the payment system, Stripes, but I think this is different. Laredo Taco, and then there's Raise the Roast Chicken. So it's not probably a fast food chicken place. It was founded in 1927, so it's 98 years old. As of 2024, they had approximately 85,000 stores. That's a lot of stores. 85,000. Keep that in mind. Employees, 135,332. Keep that in mind. The number of employees, the number of stores. It's going to be important to this story. Again, I am telling this story, and of course, my wonderful audience, I want your feedback. If you were in this situation, what would you do? Do you think that the company handled the situation properly? And I'll go into a few more details here. So that's the just a Reader's Digest version of the company. 85,000 stores, headquartered in Irving, Texas, 135 plus employees. Okay, 7-Eleven is a convenience store. It's been around since I was a little girl. Widely in the southeast part of the country, that was the only convenience store before the Wawas, the Marathons. So 7-Eleven, I would say for me, was probably the first convenience store that I was introduced to. In my hometown. And it's still around, surprisingly. We know how companies come and go, as things change in the marketplace. But so what happened is, let me get to the point here and stop rambling. Thank you for your indulgence. What happened is there was a female clerk working out of one of their Oklahoma stores. Again, they have 85,000 stores. A male gentleman came into the store. When you're in a convenience store, you're looking around, or you know exactly what you want and you go directly to that part of the store. So allegedly, and again, everything we say is alleged, it's for training and education purposes only. Again, I'm Professor BJ. We talk about all things workplace, policy, leadership. And if you've watched my channel, you know that I'm fair, I'm objective, or at least I try to be. Many times there's blame to go around. I never blame one party versus the other. HR is wrong sometimes, manager, employees, there's enough blame to go around. So I try to be objective when I bring these type of topics to the forefront for your feedback and input. So getting back to the story, sorry for the rambling. It's been a long day. So this customer came into the 7-Eleven. The female clerk was there alone. Very important to the story. She was alone. It was, I think, according to the records, it was like 11:30, so it was late at night, 11:30. So there wasn't a lot of foot traffic during this incident. So he came in, he looked around, whatever he was looking for, or pretending to look for. He came up to the counter. He gave the clerk, again, the female clerk, a $100 bill. And as you know, even if you go to Walmart or grocery store, they have those little pins to see if you have a bill over $20. Sometimes even $20, they check them. She realized that it was a counterfeit bill. The $100 bill that he was going to pay with was counterfeit. So allegedly, again, everything we say is alleged, she made a comment to him that this doesn't, look like a valid bill, or however she phrased it. He became enraged. He came around the counter. Again, she's there by herself. There was no plexiglass or anything. He came around the counter and he started attacking her. Allegedly, and this is where the crux of the debate is. This is a debate online right now. She had her personal weapon with her. You know what that is, the Pum Pum. She used her weapon, Pum Pum, to get him off of her. He was not, it wasn't fatal. I'm trying to use my words carefully here. But it was discharged in the course of her employment. Fine, she calls the police, because she was actually trying to call the police as, the interaction was ensuing. When he came around the counter, she knew that, this was not going to go well. So as she's, trying to, get everything set up to discharge her Pum Pum, she was trying to call 911. He, obviously did not want her to call 911. So that's when everything just kind of went left very quickly. So apparently he wasn't in the store very long when all this took place. No other customers around, nor the witnesses. Again, it's about 11:30, 12 at night. Long story short, this is where it comes in. So she's, told the police everything that happened. And I did watch a couple of follow-up videos to get more background on the customer, the patron. But regarding that night, so she thought that she had handled it. It was either him or her. I'm sure many of you have been in those situations. You're going down or I'm going down. He's going to take me down or I'm going to take him down. That was her thought pattern, rightfully so. When you're in crisis, it's either fight or flight. When you're in crisis, it's fight or flight, and she chose to fight. Fast forward the next day, she gets a call from corporate, Irving, Texas. Again, she's in Oklahoma. I'm sure she was thinking, they were calling to get her side of the story, because in any workplace situation, you need to do an investigation, hear both sides of the story, find out what steps she took, protocol, all that great stuff. Instead of, this is where it gets tricky, instead of them finding out how she's doing, is she okay, does she need the services of EAP, because that could be traumatic if you've never been in an attempted, situation like that. Because anything could have happened to her. She could have been physically, harmed. It could have been a fatality. So many things could have happened. She could suffer from PTSD for a long time, which would cripple her ability to do her job. So that's the crux of the debate. Oh, so let me get back to the story. So she got a call from corporate, and they told her that she was going to be terminated because she went against company policy by discharging her Pum Pum in the workplace. They have which most companies, we all know that. Most companies, 99.9% of companies have, don't bring your weapon, on the, grounds of the workplace. Don't discharge it. Don't, show it. Don't brandish it. All that verbiage. We know it's all in the handbook. We know that. The point is, do you feel, or if you were in that situation, would you have done the same thing? Would you have reacted differently? Would you have tried to throw something at him? Usually there are things all over the counter. Just throw something to try to diffuse the situation while you're picking up the phone to call. Again, they didn't say if there's a panic button in the store. So I don't want this to be too long. So this is what I would say. And this has come from an HR perspective. We do have policies in place because we need a rule, a standard of order in any environment where you have people. We have to have company policies because it guides how we are to behave, a code of conduct. If we don't have policies, it's anarchy, and we don't want that in the workplace. But, there's always a but, we have to use common sense. We have to use common sense because, yes, there are policies in place, but we have to use common sense. My position is, again, everything I say is for training education purposes, not to blatantly go against your company policies because they're there for a reason, to keep law and order. That's very important in any environment. You have rules in your home. You have rules in your business if you're a business owner. You have to have rules and policies so that everything flows smoothly. But we also have something in that gray area where we have to use our common sense. Me personally, if that were me as the employee, I would use whatever, I had at my disposal to, try to disengage, try to, you know, prevent it if I could, as I saw him coming across. But if he got too close to me, I'm sure I would have done the same thing. I'm sure I would have done the same thing. Again, going back to our basic instinct, it's either to fight or flight. Fight or flight. Those many times those are the only two options when you're getting ready to be physically attacked. And my heart goes out to this employee. I'm so sorry this happened to her, but the company was wrong. Again, I'm fair. The company was wrong because she was there by herself. I'm going to take this a step further, putting blame on the company. Why is it that you have this type of establishment in this industry that's known to be subject to, especially after a certain hour, you left this employee vulnerable. She was there by herself running this convenience store, your convenience store that you're making huge profits. Again, they have 85 locations, 135 employees. That's a big company. That's a very big company. I wasn't able to get their revenue, but I'm sure it's millions, if not billions of dollars per year. Revenue. You did not protect your employee. You did not provide a safe working environment. You did not take the safety of this employee seriously. You should never have one employee working at a convenience store after a certain hour. And if you have to, you should have locked doors and a plexiglass and a window. That is, again, that's, what I think should happen with convenience stores, because we've seen too many instances where people have been hurt physically. There have been fatalities. She did what comes natural to any of us. It's fight or flight. And whatever I have to use to fight you off of, get you off of me, I'm going to use that to get you off of me. I'll deal with the company later. The heck with the company policy. Again, not in a disrespectful way, but it's either me or them. And guess what? At the end of the day, if something had happened to her, the company's going to replace her the next day. They have a pool of people. She's gone. They go to the funeral. They say their, niceties at the funeral. And then, next thing within an hour, they've got other people there. The next night, they're going to open up. The next morning, it's 24 hours. They're going to call in all their risk management people, probably security, safety, HR, and, business as usual. So that's why you as an employee have to understand that's how these companies work. Again, not knocking companies. This is obviously they've done something right to be in business for 98 years. But again, from a human perspective, as I tell you, HR's role is to be an advocate for the employees, but also manage, the risk for the company. Because again, interdependency, we can't have one without the other. But at the same time, it's fight or flight. Fight or flight. And if you're in a situation like that, do whatever you need to do to keep yourself safe or get to a safe space. He came around the corner, so she wasn't able to run out and get into a cooler, lock herself in, get to the bathroom, lock herself in, and call 911. So she did what came natural to all of us. So I want to hear your feedback. What was the company wrong for firing her? Was the company wrong for not having at least 2 employees, at least a locked door? And again, what I would suggest to her, file a lawsuit. Wrongful termination. Call a couple of attorneys in your area, an employment labor law attorney, file unemployment, file an EEOC, hit them where it hurts. Again, it's me or them. So again, Professor BJ, hope you have an amazing holiday. Take care. I'm sorry this video is a little longer than most of my videos, but this was burning because I wanted to know what your thoughts are on this. So take care, be well, and enjoy your holiday.